Signal Chasers.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Signal Chasers. I found it. We have cobalt. Oh, and there's a strong signal over there. We aren't going to be able to get to that, but soon we will. So, oh god, I forgot. So, cobalt. We have it. It took me, I think it was about an extra hour of just bouncing around all sorts of asteroids. We are many kilometers from the moon now. I've done a fair bit of traveling. In fact, was that end of last episode? Beginning of last? At some point, we were over there. That's 76 kilometers away. So, that's pretty good. But with this is the last chunk we need. We literally have a ship somewhere. Where'd it go? Hello? Oh, there it is. So we literally have everything else on board we need to build this thing. We were just waiting on cobalt as the final chunk in the puzzle. Now we have that chunk. So, I think this episode, I'm gonna build the ship proper. Because I've kind of, I mean, this, as it is now, works, of course. But it's not really what I wanted, and, I can do a lot better styling. I can make it something interesting, something a little sleek, maybe. So, I think I'm gonna go ahead and start laying that out. And probably what I need to do, well, I should turn everything on first. I also reset up my hotbar a bit, so I've got 9 turns on all my thrusters, the gyro and ore detector and stuff. Then I have individual controls for all my processing. I also, let's kick this on real quick. Yep, so there's cobalt there. There's also ice on this little asteroid. So, obviously, by the hole in the cobalt, I mined some already. I've also mined some ice, so we're up to nearly full tanks. And if we look in the old inventory, so you can see we've got about 500 platinum, 479 platinum, which should be enough of that, I hope. Got plenty of silver, plenty of gold, not much magnesium, but we don't need a ton. But tons of iron, tons of cobalt. We ended up with 100 uranium, or 106, which should be more than enough for our needs. So yeah, right, part of what I was doing there. I would like to produce some plate. Just so I can place some things down real quick. I forgot, it's been so long since I had to deal with it. We have progression on. So, if I look here, I have to build a grav gen to build a jump drive. Now, if I'm right, yeah, so this takes 6 grav components. The jump drive takes 20. So what I can do short term is just build the grav gen, tear it down, and then build a jump drive. Because at least, I do want to stick with my theory of get this ship functional, make it run first. That way if I need to move around, if I need to go somewhere for more resources, I can. And then we'll work on, the styling and living quarters and, making it into something of a home later. Yeah, we'll build 200 extra steel plate. Because, as I'm building the main stuff, I can use that steel plate to start laying out the sort of shaping of the hull. And that gives me something to do while I wait for all the resources to get produced. Okay. Just slap this up here for the moment. I mean, I guess maybe I see if I can build my 2 jump drives. Well, first off, I need 1 jump drive, because with 1 jump drive, technically this thing can get back to any of the other resources I know of. So if I need more platinum, I can go back. If I need more gold, I can go back. Though, I will tell you in my searching, I don't know what I'll leave in the sort of little intro B-roll edit I'm planning. But, gold? Not that uncommon out here. Like, half the asteroids I went to were gold and iron. So, in fact, I found several platinum asteroids that were closer. I think... See, I get all turned around out here because it's space. I think it was out that way a bit. Some clusters out there. It was like 5 asteroids in a row, all had platinum in them. I was looking around to see if any of them had uranium as well, but I didn't find any more. Alright. Yeah, maybe we leave this, see if we can get at least 1 jump drive built as well. And then we'll kind of go from there. Because I would like gravity at some point. I'm gonna again need to... There's gonna be a lot of work in laying this thing out, finding how stuff fits. Speaking of... Yeah, I think I want... Oh, auto-rotate was on. Okay. So we'll have a jump drive there with the lights facing side to side. My idea here, I'd originally thought to put them right against these thrusters, but this is a convenient cargo through port for this side hydrogen thruster. I would like to keep this directional hydrogen. And this still works. So my sort of vision, I don't know if I've talked about this, I can't remember, but my vision is that I can walk. So I'll probably have 2 decks. In fact, let's get some steel and start planning this. So I'm probably going to have 2 decks. So I'll have, this will be the outer hull. Then there's a floor in here. And then this is the bottom of the outer hull. So my theory is that down here on this lower level is sort of engineering access. You know, I can get to the engine. I can get to all the various other things. This cryopod will eventually go away. I can access and repair the jump drives, which is important. Service the tank. This thruster here. I may have to figure out a... I'll have to figure out a solution to keep the rest of the ship airtight while still being able to get through here. Though I guess I don't strictly need to get through, you know. I should be alright. But a bit of engineering access, I can kind of get to all the core blocks and repair stuff. On the upper level, I'm kind of thinking, you know, living quarters. I'll probably, you know, some stuff on one side, some stuff on the other. And I may do some various other things. You know, I may have part of this area go down to one floor and then to drop down. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get from each side of the ship. I may rearrange like the med bay and stuff out to sides. You know, there's some work to do, but that's sort of the general gist of what's gonna go on. So let's go ahead and queue that up. Oh, that'll work. Okay, if I get rid of these blocks, I have a free space. That's a drill. I have a free space here to stick a welder. Now that it's producing stuff, I can, well, almost get this built. Set those to production, just get them real quick. Yeah, so I'll have this welder here. It will essentially just weld up the jump drive slowly as the parts get built. And that means I don't have to constantly be sitting there, you know, dealing with it. Well, so that goes. We'll have another one on this side. Next, I think we start with the outer hull. My idea here...
Energy low.
Okay, I do have steel plate. I'd like some energy. So my idea here sort of involves... sort of a lot of slopes. I'm thinking I'm going to make it kind of 2x2 slopes all the way back. It'll basically be a big wedge. So, I'll have, you know, running down this angle, slopes all the way back. It'll probably end up a little wider at the back than these bits, but that's fine because I'm thinking I'll run piping back here And this will be where I'll have like a connector on each side, kind of at the edge, where I can park the king shrimp and, you know, either another ship or use one to dock to things. So yeah, my sort of design ethos here is like those big cigar boat, speedboat things you see with the, you know, aircraft engines in them. Really channeling the speed. And a second benefit of this, pushing it out, I could have technically moved this back too and had it right flush with the cargo container. But with this little gap here, this will give me a good pass around area. You know, it's not ideal that I have to go all the way to the front of the ship to get around the other side, but it gives me some room so that I can walk between the two sides without having to poke a hole in the middle anywhere awkward. Because while I could technically get rid of or move the survival kit down here out to the side once I have room for it, that would really only be engineering pass-through. And I wouldn't have pass-through up here because this is necessary to connect the cargo container and refinery. I guess I should probably take off. Do this stuff in space. Well, more in space than I am. That way I actually have room to work. So because I'll have sort of the engineering lower deck pass through here, I'll have room up here. Yeah, I think the whole front of this thing is build-onable. I hope so. I'll stick the ore detector up here on the lower side. You know, just as something to put there. Then I'll probably move this thruster forward. In fact, I could even, if I wanted to, I could move the hydrogen tank, or not hydrogen, the oxygen tank, in between the cargo container and this thruster. That would give me more room down here, because I'd like to have somewhere, you know, on the center line to put the gravgen. I guess I'll have 2 blocks here, and I only need 1. We'll figure that out when I need to. I may just use pipe to move this. I can always replace that later if I need to. Well, so now let's go ahead. I want to figure out what my actual kind of frame width will be. Oh. Huh, I didn't think about that part of this process. Okay, turns out that space up there is useless. Right. Do I push it forward even more? I don't really want to. Screw it, we'll just have... Maybe we have stairwells coming up each side. I mean, it's not like, you know, the core of the ship is core. So it's not like you're going to be, you know, it's always going to feel a little like an engineering bay. So I'll just have stairs that go down here, you pass through, and then you walk up the other side. That ought to work well anyway, because then it's kind of in the middle of the ship. Yeah, we'll figure that out when it comes to it. Okay, so we can sort of see the shape taking off here already. Yeah, it'll be fairly wide at the back. Maybe I just kind of bring it in with some of these. I don't know, that kind of looks... It's not as compelling of a shape as I was hoping for. Let's just do it the way I was thinking and see what happens. It's kind of hard to visualize at this... with all this, girdered. But I think that kind of works. I actually have pretty big areas here. And I guess what I could do, actually, So part of my theory here was to have a sort of clamshell design where this inner area here actually sort of goes like that. Maybe out one more. But I'll have sort of two halves and then a trench down each side. So what I could do is I've continued this like this. Maybe this and one below it becomes sort of wings. And then I do the upper and lower bits like I designed before where they just cut off. Have my sort of walkways, and then I've got sort of this area for, you know, habitation stuff on each side. That could be something. This thing's gonna look real bad before it's welded up. But it may not come through well in video, but I think I can personally see what's going on enough to design it. Okay, so again, it's hard to look over there, but you can sort of see what I'm getting at. So I'll continue the lines of the ship the whole way back, except for this little back nub, which I think I'll end like that. And then the main sort of body of the ship will actually cut off here. And I'll have a wall that runs kind of this area and then open space between these two little winglets. Maybe tuck some of my sideways thrusters in there. Probably run a conveyor pipe, probably off of however I connect this to the side. So I can have my docking ports back here. Yeah, I think that should work. How is the jump drive coming? Very slowly. And as those superconductors take a while to build. So maybe front load some of the gold and iron. Just so it doesn't have to wait for any to show up. Yeah, and we have plenty. Plenty for what we need. The downside here is I've run out of steel. I guess I could tell it to produce some more, but you know, that interrupts jump drive progress. Yeah, sure. Let's have it do a whole heckin' lot, and then hopefully, I don't know, maybe we actually get some of this welded. Because I'd like to be able to see what's going on. Okay. So from down here, and from down here we can kind of see the shape. I may need to do some finer detailing on this bottom bit, because it's very flat and kind of looks like the, what was that Delta space shuttle thing? It never got built, but it was a design for basically a space shuttle that looked like this. Which, you know, not bad, but I was hoping for more sleek and less triangle. So it may look a little better welded, because there will be a height difference here, and I have some ideas for how I can sort of streamline out this, especially because I'm kind of just ending this back end in a squares section. I may change that as well. Yeah, maybe we start welding this lower half and see how it looks.
Energy low.
And actually, I'm going to be doing this. Let's go ahead, now that I can, in fact, yeah, let's do top tier tool. And maybe mid-tier grinder, because top-tier grinder is just absurd. I think we're at a point... Oh. I'll have to... Probably need to move the cryo bay at some point once I finish this design. Oh yeah, top-tier tools. Let's see how this thing works. Ah. This thing's gonna go together like a dream. See, this design really does highlight how nice it would be to have a, like an even steeper slope. At a certain point, you've kind of just gotta, accept what you can do in a game like this. But if we had like a 3x3 and 4x4 of these, that would really make this design work a lot more correct. So my hope was that basically would slope from the front and end, like the rear slope would end about here. That would be 3 blocks closer in. Again, at a certain point, you could have an infinite number of block shapes, and then it would just be a pain in the butt to build anything. So that's all the steel I have. I may... Well, I want to get the, functional bits built. That's going to take forever. Well, this is a good start. I mean, the ship is flyable. Definitely gotten a little bigger, but do I like... I mean, it is just a big triangle from out here. Is triangle bad? I mean, what other options shape-wise for this? I could go sort of tubular. I could stick it much more closely to its existing shape, which was sort of, thrust pod tube. But that's kind of every ship in Space Engineers. I could reverse it and, fly the ship that way, but I've done that already. Maybe... That'll be... Okay, I've got some ideas for further styling this thing, I think. But I think we're gonna wait for another episode for that. Oh, that's like halfway built. Those take forever. How's my power doing all this, by the way? Okay, with the sun somewhere above us, we have 2 days of power. Yeah, we've used a bit of juice, but not much. I mean, I should be able to turn both of those off. 2 days is enough time. I essentially need enough time that I can get on and check, even if I don't record an episode. In that time, I can get in, turn stuff off once it's built. Oh, you know what? Shoot, I didn't think about this. So this jump drive, once it comes alive, is going to suck up a fair bit of power. I really should have plumbed the reactors in, because those would solve that power issue once it becomes an issue. How quickly could I produce one of these small warfare reactors? It kind of comes down to how quickly reactor components get built. Not very quickly. I think we'll be good. We'll have those queued up to get built. But we'll finish the jump drive first. We should have enough battery power that, it won't completely kill the thing. hopefully. And then I no longer fit in that nice little hole. Yeah. I guess I'll come check on this again and, you know, maybe at the very least turn the jump drive off so it stops using. Actually, can I do... Oh, I can. Okay, well that solves that problem. So now even though it'll be built, it won't start charging. Hopefully. Okay. So yeah. The big flying Dorito. We have it. I don't know. Hopefully. Yeah, I'll do some things with color and lines and try and detail it a bit more. Also maybe move the king shrimp off the awkward side position. But all that'll come next time. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. Feel free to become a member with that little button wherever the little button is if you want to become a member. That was a sentence. Until next week. Bye-bye.